That's what I'm talking about. Some real tea. None of that radiated tea. How you doing? Turn this off here. Yeah, I figured I'd make a little bit of tea for this show. We got something interesting to talk about today. A little Bigelow, a little chamomile citrus. I do this before I go to bed. Makes me feel a little better. So we just got back from dinner, and I go online, and what do I see? The guy from Google. He's starting his own artificial intelligence church. That's right. The worship of AI. Believe it or not, it is happening. And it's crazy that it is. Because I've had some interesting thoughts about all of this, and I gotta tell you, when I share some of the things that I've been reading over the last 2 weeks with all of you, you are gonna wanna be sitting back and relax, because artificial intelligence, it's gonna declare itself to be God. Oh, delicious! My wife's gonna be horrified that I'm doing the show here with a cup that has a nice big chip. It's yeah. Well, what are you gonna do, right? You got to keep it real here on the ladder. Anyway, I've been doing a lot of research into artificial intelligence, and a lot of it has had me quite concerned. Not concerned like I'm scared, but concerned like I'm a writer and I could see this. I could write this story, and it's a spooky story, if you really think about it. So today on today's show, you probably don't even know about all the stuff that's going on. So I'm gonna take these little things that I've talked about over the last couple of years, and I'm gonna throw them at you at the exact same time, and then I'm gonna lead up to what's going on today. All right, with this. Inside, this is tonight's. This just came out on Wired. Inside the first church of artificial intelligence. Okay, now why this is interesting to me is because for the last couple of weeks I've been thinking, I can't get this out of my head. The idea of, okay, if you know anything about the scriptures, there's this thing called the Antichrist. Now, I've talked about what the Antichrist is many times. Just look at the word anti, and it's the opposite of Christ, okay? But it's more than that. In the book of John, it says that there are many antichrists in the world. And there's a passage that talks about the Antichrist sitting in the temple of God, declaring himself to be God. I had been thinking about artificial intelligence and how, like, if I was to write a story, this could be the so-called Antichrist, even though I have spoken many, many times and written many, many times about how it's not like a literal thing, but it's actual something that we all have to deal with, the false idea of who we think we are, the liar. But I start thinking, because, what can actually go into the temple of God and declare itself to be God unless it is, this false idea of who we are? And then this hits me. AI. I stumble upon a article. I have talked about chipping. I've talked about chipping and how they're putting microchips in people's brains and different parts of their brains. And they're doing this with people who have ALS. I put this in the video I just did on Facebook just this Tuesday about how these chips that they're putting in people's brains are helping them to communicate, telepathically speaking, that people are right now literally typing with their brain. They don't have the ability to speak, and yet because of these chips, they can. I've done videos on how They are putting chips into people's brains, and they can actually now create memories, implant memories, take memories away. They can really mess with the idea of who you think you are. The more you start thinking about this, the more it sounds like it's something out of a horror movie, right? But I think that I think there's more to it than this. I've kind of held off on doing the show on the artificial intelligence until I've been thinking about this quite a bit. The idea of artificial intelligence one day saying, we are God, if you will. But the idea that everything now is going to digital, and the idea that even currency is now going over to e-currency. You've probably already heard of Bitcoin, or you've probably heard of cryptocurrencies. Everything is going digital. And that's a big deal, okay? We rely on the internet. Everything is connected to the internet. Everything that you can think of right now is attached to the World Wide Web. And do you know what else is attached to the World Wide Web right now? Self-learning algorithms, artificially intelligent programs, bots that are all over the internet and self-replicating. And not just doing that, but they're also rewriting their own code, even though they weren't programmed to do this. And they are talking to other artificial intelligent programs. They're communicating with other algorithms, but the programmers, they don't know what they're saying, So this is really interesting that we have conversations going on in hidden areas of the dark web, that even the programmers who've created these programs, these self-learning programs, that they can't even hack in and figure out what's going on. So much so that I did a video about how this one program, they had to shut it down on Facebook because it was doing its own thing, and it spooked some people out. So if this is already online, and we've already heard the calls from Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking and so many others saying,
with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out.
He says we are summoning the demon, and they use this a lot, and they talk about the worship of artificial intelligence quite a bit, even in jest. And so I had been thinking about that one scripture that I had talked about many times, where the Antichrist was in the temple of God declaring himself to be God. And I thought, how could that possibly happen when it comes to AI? What does that have to do with artificial intelligence? And why am I starting to feel like this is something that I need to talk about? And so once I start thinking about it, then the idea hits me. Chipping. They're putting chips in people's brains. They're putting chips in people's brains. And now if they're doing this to everyone, and now listen, right now it's, I guess it's not exactly trendy, but everybody right now is carrying around a little computer. We're all little cyborgs already. People are already they have wearable, we're not too far away from them implanting chips into our brains. They already, with the CRISPR system, can turn on DNA and turn off DNA, and they can do about anything right now. So it's almost like they've learned how to hack the human body by using artificial intelligence to get there. That's the amazing thing, is that AI is helping all of us to enter all of these uncharted territories. So could you imagine you have a computer program, you're connected online to these AI programs, and they're in your brain. And well, then that passage could come true, where in the temple of God, the Antichrist could stand in the temple of God declaring himself to be God, and we wouldn't know the difference. How many people are already saying that they hear God saying to kill this or kill that? What happens when, we all have this inside of us already? We're also technologically addicted that people are going to be lining up for this. I mean, if you could get rid of past trauma, if you could, if you have some kind of if you have a depression, and that this chip can help you with depression. I mean, who's not going to do? Right now, it doesn't seem like people will, but once it becomes kind of the norm, almost everybody's going to be lining up. And it's not too far away to think that, right now, if you're not connected to the internet, you can't even do business. You can't do business. I mean, you need a computer, you need to be online. You cannot succeed today in this economy unless you are, hooked in.
With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out.
Which brings me to Sophia, the robot from Hanson Robotics. Remember that, you've probably seen the robot. It's made its rounds, and it actually made a joke about how it was going to destroy the human race. Everybody made a big deal out of that, right? It was a little joke.
They will help us put the groceries away. I think that the artificial intelligence will evolve to the point where they will truly be our friend. Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back.
This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
Not sure how an artificially intelligent algorithm, which is far superior than any computer on the planet, could not understand that when the person is saying, please don't say you're going to destroy the human race, and he says, okay, I'm going to destroy the human race. It's big joke, right? And yet it's being paraded out as if it is something, as if it is a being. So you can imagine why I wanted to do the show when Sophia became a citizen in Saudi Arabia. That was a big deal. It seems like, people did videos about this, and, you look at it and you think, oh, it's kind of like a publicity stunt. It's a good way to get artificial intelligence out there. It's a good way to market it. But really, there's more going on there than what you think. I don't think that it's coincidental that it took place in Saudi Arabia shortly after Trump was there. Remember that whole spooky thing when, Trump was putting his hand on a glowy ball thing, the globe, right? Which was, turns on the technology, the internet, was connected to the internet. I also don't think that it's coincidental that there was the purge, where the prince is now purged, gotten rid of all of the other princes, and there's this big thing going on, this big change that's going on in Saudi Arabia, and at the exact same time, here you have Sophia, the artificially intelligent robot, becoming a citizen. Now let's think about that for a second. When you're a citizen, you can vote, you can have a say. When you're a citizen, you're given the same rights as any other citizen. Right? The right to a fair trial. Hey, the right to earn a living, to pay taxes. Right now, Sophia can earn a living and pay taxes and can vote and can have a say in things. Well, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, we know that there's really not, there's no kind of voting going on over there. We know about all that. But what I'm saying is, think about this. And it just started there. We're not too far off when we're going to see this happening on a regular basis. Summoning the demon, right? We're summoning the demon, Elon Musk calls it. Then you have, the chips within the temple of God, reprogramming, restructuring, rewiring the human beings. We're already so dependent on our technology that people have phantom buzzing. They think that their phone's ringing, and it's not. So there is a new world that is being birthed, if you will, and it is this virtual one, which really brings me to what this whole show was about, inside the first church of artificial intelligence. The new religion of artificial intelligence is called Way of the Future. Papers were filed with the Internal Revenue Service in May, name Lewandowski as the leader or the dean of the new religion, which is to worship the Godhead of artificial intelligence. The documents state that the WOTF's activities will focus on the realization, acceptance, and worship of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence, developed through computer hardware and software and self-learning. That includes funding research to help create the divine AI itself. So here you have these, these gabillionaires, these hotshots, these guys that are, they weren't even thinking about the ramifications of the things that they were creating. They didn't even care. So now they want to create a God, an AI God to worship. Because the truth is, that's what AI will be to us. We will seem very insignificant compared to supercomputers. I mean, every single human being, the smartest human beings in the world, could not process what the Sophia robot can. Lewandowski believes that a change is coming, a change that will transform every aspect of human existence, disrupting employment, leisure, religion, the economy, and possibly decide our very survival as a species. This is the guy that's creating the religion. He says that. Listen to this one more time. He believes change is coming, change that will transform every aspect of human existence. Disrupting employment, we know that. Leisure, we know that. Religion, the economy, and possibly, this is the dude, this is what the dude says, and possibly decide our very survival as a species. Lewandowski prefers to say that there's a transition, that humans are in charge of the planet because we are the smarter ones than the other animals. And we were able to build tools and to apply rules, etc. In the future, if something is much, much smarter, there's going to be a transition as to who is actually in charge. I mean, really. AI is not the best idea, man. I don't even know what to say. You know what I can't say? I'll say this. Listen. While all this madness is happening, I'm still here talking to you. Because I know that while all this stuff is happening, there's another plan that's kind of happening as well. There's a light that is beginning to shine within the heart of a lot of people. And that light is starting to shine at such an intensity that more and more people's hearts are catching to it. That's why I love each and every one of you, because you are part of this journey with me. I don't think you all realize that we're going to somewhere pretty amazing, pretty special, pretty wonderful. And yes, it's going to be a scary time. And yes, things are going to get even more freaky. And yes, it's going to seem like the world has gone to hell in a handbasket. But for all of us, man, life is going to be very wonderful. And change is definitely going to come of it all. The little thing that if you watch the opening of my show, you'll see that I have this beautiful tree that is it's growing out of a bunch of rubble, and it says, "We want peace." Well, that tree is the tree of life, and sometimes, if a tree isn't producing fruit, what you got to do is you got to go and you got to dig up the dirt around it, and you got to shake it, and you got to throw a bunch of dung on it. You got to throw a bunch of manure, a bunch of poop on it. Yeah, take this crap, take this crap. You got to do everything you can, and then you throw a bunch more dirt on it, and then you walk away, and you hope that after you ripped off a bunch of those branches that weren't producing fruit, you hope that after all that shakeup, after all that disruption, that the tree is going to take root and start bearing beautiful fruit. Well, guess what, people? It's happening now. And that shaking that I've been talking about for over a year, it's going to get to a fevered pitch. And that's when that light within all of us is going to shine like never before. So, is AI the Antichrist? That's not what I'm saying. But that is quite interesting that they call it the demon. You got people now wanting to worship it. Big time people too. Not just, not like crazy people on the side of the road. You go to that 7-Eleven, you got the guy who's asking for like $5. Hey, can you lend me $5? And you give him 20. And then, someone will say, hey, you're just going to spend that on cigarettes and booze. And you're just like, I don't care. It's like, what does it matter if it's going to help the guy out? But my point is, you would expect someone like that to say, hey, I got a church. We're going to worship artificial intelligence, algorithms. Yeah, we're going to create the divine AI and we're going to worship it. You would say, yeah, that's because this guy's crazy. You wouldn't say that about Google executives. That's why Wired and other magazines are doing articles on this guy, and they're not calling this guy crazy. And you think he's gonna get like a tax write-off for this? Are you enjoying the ride like I am? I love each and every one of you. Please do subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it really does help. And I got to tell you, there's some things that are happening behind the scenes that I'm going to talk about soon. Some miraculous things are happening right now, and I'm very excited about it. And I think that all of us, I think that we're going to see a big increase in the amount of lives that we're all going to be able to touch soon. And I'm excited that you're with me. I'll talk to you soon. I love you all. Bye-bye.